Hi there, Chestnut class. Last week we focused on using rounding skills to round the decimals to the nearest whole number. This week you're going to be asked to use and apply that knowledge, but in a slightly different context. Today we're going to explore how rounding skills can be used to help us to estimate values of money. Now, last week you looked at a visual aid which looked a lot like this. The only difference is it went from 0 to 1. This one is almost identical, but it goes not from 0 to 1, it goes from 0 pounds. In fact, I should put a little pound sign there. From 0 pounds up to £1. And in between, instead of 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, etc., it's got 10p, 20p, 30p, 40p, 50p, 60p, 70p, 80p, and 90p. Hopefully you can see that this is very, very similar to the skill we were working last week. And actually rounding values of money to the nearest pound is almost identical to rounding decimal values to the nearest whole number. Let me show you what I mean. Let's put our little red arrow to a value. Let's put it to 40p. Okay? And if we're talking about in pounds, that would be £0, decimal point, and 4 10p's or 4 tenths or 40 hundredths. So 0.4 pounds. Okay. Now, I'm going to ask you to think about how you would round that to the nearest whole pound. In order to do that, we're going to have to revisit the rule that we learnt last week. Last week we learnt that if we use our halfway point as a guide, any value which was closer to this whole number or this whole pound will be rounded down, and any number that was closer to this whole number or whole pound would be rounded up. So 40 pence, if you round it to the nearest pound, will be rounded to £0. Okay. If we took the arrow and put it to a value on this side of that halfway marker, 70 pence, for example, or 0.7 pounds, you can see that it's definitely much closer to this whole value. So you'd round this, not down, but you'd round it up to £1. So if it's exactly halfway in between the two values, 50 pence or 0.5 pounds, for example, I wonder if you can remember what's the rule that we learnt last week. Last week we learnt the rule that if it's exactly halfway in between the two values that you're rounding to, you always round up. So 50 pence will be rounded up to the nearest pound. So 50 pence will be rounded to £1. Now this same rule and this same set of rules apply when we're dealing with values not just between 0 and £1, but for example here we've got £2 on this side and we've got £3 over here. So if I put my arrow down here, for example, I've got £2 and 25 pence, or 2.25 pounds, or I suppose you could say 225 pence. We're going to round that to the nearest pound. So I'm thinking, right, let me put, do you know what, I'm going to put a little halfway marker in there just to help me. That's my halfway marker. So I have to think, is it on this side of the halfway marker? If so, I'm going to round it down to £2. Or is it on this side of the halfway marker? If so, I'm going to round it up to £3. You can clearly see that £2.25 is on this side of the halfway marker. So £2.25 will be rounded down to £2. Okay, let's have another look. £2.71. Ooh. £2.71. You just have to ask yourself that simple question. On which side of that halfway marker is it sitting? Is it closer to £3 or is it closer to £2? Hopefully this visual clue will show you it's definitely closer to £3. Okay. Finally, you probably guessed what I was going to do then. £2.50. Okay, £2.5. Well, we know this is exactly halfway in between these two values. It's exactly halfway between £2 and £3. So the rule we've learned is if this happens, we round it up to the larger value. So £2.50 we round it up to £3. Okay. Here we've got the values where the pounds we're rounding between are £10, and over here we've got £11. Okay. So if I'm going to put my little arrow there, and I'm just going to mark on my halfway mark to help me. This here I've got £11 and 47 pence. £11.47. So my job is it closer to £11 or is it closer to, sorry, my mistake, I do apologise, £10.47. Is it closer to £11 or is it closer to 10? Well, you can hopefully clearly see it's closer to £10 because it's just on this side of that halfway marker, so I'd round it down to £10. If we had that number exactly there, £10 and 50 pence, £10.5, the rule we've learned is we would round it up to the larger value. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Now, your final thing we're going to look for is actually, I've just literally cut and pasted this from one of the worksheets you're going to do this week. So I thought it looked like a really interesting question. It says, basically, this question shows how actually you could use and apply this knowledge of estimation. It says, Annie has £15 to spend at the theme park. She rides the roller coaster, which costs £4.34. What an oddly specific cost for a roller coaster. In any case, you have to ask yourself, what number, what whole pound does that round it to? Do I round it down to £4 or up to £5? Hopefully you can see, and if you think back, 34 pence is less than that 50p halfway marker. So £4.34, I'm going to round that to £4. So I'm going to say the roller coaster costs approximately £4. She then rides the big wheel, which costs £3.85. Again, a very specific amount for a big wheel. So the big wheel. Now, £3.85. Am I going to round that down to £3 or up to £4? Well, actually, that 85p is bigger than that 50p halfway marker. 85 is much closer to 100 than it is to 0. Therefore, £3.85 I would round up to £4. Cool. So the roller coaster costs £4, the big wheel costs £4. In total, I've spent approximately, that means about, roughly £8. If I just write £8 in the answer down there, I'm going to end up getting the wrong answer because I haven't actually read the final part of the question. The bit with the question mark, that's the bit you really need to look at. In fact, it's so important, I'm going to go absolutely bonkers, and I'm going to highlight it with a highlighter pen. It says approximately how much money will she have left over? So in the end, it's actually moved to a finding the difference problem. What's the difference between £8 and £15? Okay, if I'm going to put this into a little bar model here, please excuse my rough drawing. Nice little snazzy bar model there. Okay, she has £15. That's how much she has to spend. She spent approximately £8. We're looking for this missing value here. So we could solve this by doing 15 take away 8 equals missing number, or we could do it by doing 8 add on mystery number equals 15. I like to do that, I think. So I would put 8 on my number line. I say, what do I have to add on to 8 to get up to 15? Okay. because I've got some good arithmetic skills, I'm going to bridge up to 10. So I'm going to jump on a little jump of 2, will be taking me up to 10, and then 5 to 15. So I know that's a jump of 7 in total. Okay, so I know roughly, approximately, just got around £7 left. That's my pen gone. There you go. Okay, and that's how you're going to work out problems like this. Okay, she's got approximately, wow, that's a funny looking pound sign. Approximately £7 left. Okay. So this week you will be asked to round money to the nearest whole pound. You'll also be asked to use and apply this skill in order to solve real life problems. I know you're going to be absolutely brilliant at it.